Welcome back to another episode of In Depth. My name is Luke Hardacre, and I'm a surf coach at OMBE. If you're new to OMBE, we take a look at surfing from the perspective of ocean, mind, body, and equipment. In this podcast, it's all about straight to the point tips, things that you can take away, implement into your surfing, or things that change the way you view your surfing. And this week, I'm following again from last week. These are all kind of interlinked, these last couple podcast episodes, but they're not essential viewing or listening to be done in order. So I want to start this one, as I quite often always start them, and that's with a question. So when you're stuck in your surfing, and you're not progressing, or you're struggling to break a bad habit, what do you do first? Or how do you think about that problem? Is it pure frustration? Try harder, get back on the horse, and push through? Or do you stop and think about what is going on? What am I missing here? What skill don't I have? What am I doing wrong? What don't I know? How am I moving? The list goes on. To be honest, most of us just default to excuses. Blaming our equipment, the conditions, what's going on outside of the surf, and just saying we aren't in flow. And all that's really human, so it's okay. Not many of us look at the problem and try and figure out and just strip it down to the most basic levels. Simplify. And that's why we want you to know OMBE. And this isn't about knowing OMBE, as in OMBE surf. This isn't about knowing ocean, mind, body, and equipment for you personally and your surfing. It's about how you apply ocean, mind, body, and equipment to your struggles, and how that simple framework can give you the tools or awareness of what you're doing wrong. It's doing things the easy way, not the hard way. So what does this all mean? And how are you going to put it into practice? It all comes down to using the OMBE Lens. Viewing your surfing through this lens and changing the way you see things to ask very simple questions. And these are the basic questions. And we just want to give you very simple answers that you can action. So when you find yourself in this state, think of this. You first want to start with the ocean. And what's your ocean awareness? What's your ocean IQ? Are you seeing the right parts of the wave? Are you in the right position? Are you looking at the right parts of the wave? Are you picking the right lines to surf the wave? And are you surfing the wave how it wants it to be surfed? And then you move into your mind. And how is your mind? Do you have the right knowledge? Are you calm and relaxed and allowing yourself to flow? Are you afraid, overthinking things, dealing with stress, anxiety, anything like that? And then you move into the body. And how does your body move? Is there tension? Are you not looking at the right place? Are you moving efficiently and with flow and intent? And finally, your equipment. Are you on the right equipment? Does the board match what you're trying to do? Do you know how that board works? Do you know the functions and are matching it right tool for the right job? That's a really rough outline of some of the questions you could ask. It's going to be confronting, and it's going to highlight things you may not be aware of or you don't want to be aware of. Most surfers want the fix to a symptom, and all they see is the symptoms of their problems, rather than trying to find the actual cause of their problems. Hack at the roots of the problem, not the leaves and the symptoms of it. What might not be so obvious straight away is there's actually an order to OMBE, and there's an order for a reason. It's not spelt this way because it sounds good. It's not E-bomb for a reason. It's done in this way because it starts with the most important part, and that's ocean. If you can't read the ocean or play in it, you're stuffed. End of discussion. If you can't read the wave, how can you do what you want to do? If you don't know how to interact with it, how do you know what to do? So you have to pay attention to it first. If you take this out of surfing, if you want to climb a mountain or climb down, you have to first read the mountain, plot a path, figure out how you can play or use the environment. Then the mind follows. Where is your mind at? Are you responding to fear and incapable of action? Do you have gaps in your knowledge? If you don't know how to move, you will not be able to move that way at all. And then this flows into your body. Once you have the ocean IQ and a calm mind, you have the gaps of knowledge filled in, you can begin to move and play. If you start introducing tension and lack the efficiency of moving, you're not going to be able to move properly. And finally, it's equipment. Do you have the right tool for the right job? Do you know how to use the equipment to suit your purpose? That's it. So when you're working through these problems, you want to move back up the order. When you can't figure something out and you encounter a problem, you have to move back up. If you think the problem is your body and you can't move well, it's more likely fear or stress, anxiety from the mind that is killing it for you, or it's overthinking. Or it's doing the move maneuver in the wrong part of the wave. You're not flowing with the wave and you're fighting it. So again, that's even beyond that. You've missed the first step. When you have the ocean and the mind in the right place at the right time for the right conditions, then if you can't do it, it's an issue of the body. Does that make sense now? When you're going through different things, you have to self-identify what's the missing gap first, giving it the right importance. Which leads to equipment is the last thing we change. Unfortunately, the common problem and typical response from surfers is it's the board's fault. If I was on a better board, I'd rip. If I do this, I'd get more waves. Equipment is the last thing you change. If you change your equipment, you change your ocean, mind, and body. You have to change the way you interact with the ocean. Your mind is in a different place, and your body's going to have to adjust to suit the new board. It's going to move differently. People often go to the wrong equipment, trying too hard, and don't have their ocean, mind, or body under control. So when things go wrong, the board is blamed. What I mean by this equipment is the last thing you change and people getting it wrong is a lot of surfers have their OMBE around the wrong way. Their E-bomb. The first problem is always the board. I need to change the board. The board's the problem. So if I change the board, it's fine. And then it's the body. In that, it's my body. My body's letting me down. It's not my technique. It's not my mind. It's not where I'm looking. It's not the fears that are causing me to look down at the bottom of the wave that are stuffing up my pop-up. It's I need to be more fit. I need to be XYZ. And I encourage anyone to work on themselves fitness-wise. It's amazing and important to do, but that's not the solution to all your problems. And then they think, oh, I just need to be in a better part of the wave. And the last thing they ever think about is, maybe I'm actually just scared of something and I should just confront that. So they have this E-bomb approach, which just seems backwards. And it's just like, just find the best place to be there. If you're not there, then change that. And if that's confronting, then fight the confrontation. Learn to be more relaxed. Then learn to move your body well. Then learn to be on the board that suits what you want to do. To get this concept though, I'm going to need to apply it to situations we're familiar with. I'm going to use an example of just not catching waves. This is pretty straightforward and a lot of people face this. For a lot of surfers, if they can't catch a wave, they're going to blame the equipment. You need a bigger board. You need more paddle fitness. If you apply OMBE to this, equipment is the last thing you change. The issue is first ocean. Can you read the ocean? Where are the waves paddling? Go paddle and sit there. If you can't do that easily, it's a question of where's the mind. Are you afraid that you're paddling off the bus stop where the waves are breaking? Do you have the knowledge to apply the Oreo biscuit and catch waves easy and glide in? If you can sit in the right spot, read the waves, position yourself, calm the mind, and understand how to do the Oreo biscuit, what's going on with your body then? Can you actually do the movement? Are you even doing the movement? Are you tense? Only after all of that do you turn and go, okay, maybe I need a different board. This should be used here. I should get a big one. Maybe. What this is highlighting is that it's not just what you don't know, it's what you're doing wrong. But there's an easy way and there's a hard way. You can paddle harder, or you can read the wave better. You can position better. You can do the right technique at the right time, and you'll catch more waves. And that doesn't cost you any money. You don't have to buy a new big shortboard, high volume thing to do that. You just need to confront a couple fears and understand the operation of orders and do what you need to do. Or you paddle harder. You stress paddle, you get on a bigger board, it doesn't move the way you want, you can't duck dive it, and now you're killing your mind and your body. You're introducing tension and stress because you've limited yourself by the board choice. This isn't to say you can't pick a bigger board. It's that to say when you change your equipment, it will change your OMBE. And this can be positive or negative. What this also leads into is what we call the S-curve. Now, this is not an OMBE thing. This is a universal thing. This is going to be next week's episode. And this is why so much of what I've just explained over the last couple episodes and the next couple episodes is all heavily interlinked. One thing influences the other in your surfing. This changing of equipment, changing your OMBE, it is going to introduce this S-curve where when you try and learn something new, it's going to give you this negative learning experience and this growth pattern that's very slow but changes over time. The point of bringing this up, and I will go deep into that next episode, is every time you change your OMBE, you are going to introduce a new S-curve. You're going to go through this experience of slow growth and then leading into it. And as you go into it, you're going to experience rapid growth and you're going to get more comfortable and confident. So if you change where you're sitting in the ocean, you're going to have a new S-curve. If you change how you deal with your mind, or you now have to confront your mind, same thing. If you have to then work through your body and understand that you're holding a lot of tension, you've got this whole new learning experience to start. Or it will give you the missing link in something. That every time you work through things, it's going to introduce a new learning experience, and every change impacts that. Change your board, change your OMBE, you're on a new S-curve. Change the beach you're on, all of that stuff. So that will be next week's podcast. To summarize this though, if you're stuck in bad habits, if you're having a negative experience in the surf and can't figure something out, just stop, view it through the OMBE lens. Where is your ocean at? Where's your mind, body, and equipment? And identify the problem or what's lacking in that order. Any changes to your OMBE means you have to go through the process, always starting with your ocean awareness. Take the easy way and not the hard way. Make long-term fixes rather than band-aid fixes like more volume or paddling harder. If you don't have the knowledge, the ocean IQ, your first step is to go and learn that. Understand what you need to do and how to read that in the ocean. Learn how the movement is done and then calm the mind. Apply this to what you're struggling with right now, and you should have a few light bulb moments, or you'll be confronted with what's actually going wrong in your surfing. It's up to you and how you respond to the OMBE lens to fix that. And if you've been enjoying these podcasts, it'd mean a lot to us if you left a review, wherever you get your podcasts from, or if you've got a friend that you think should listen to a certain episode, it'd mean a lot to us if you shared this around. If you'd ever like to get in contact with us, you can email us at info@ombe.co. You can reach out to us on the community platform. This is also a free community for surfers to meet other surfers, discuss, talk, boards, training, surfing, all of that. It's in the show notes. As always, you'll find the full written guide if you prefer to read this. If you're new to OMBE and you don't know where to start, you'll find links in the show notes. One will be where to start with OMBE, And this is all about finding the right training program for you, finding what skill level you're at, and these are all filterable to show you the 1 or 2 training programs you should be focused on. And this tells you which ones include our monthly feedback webinars, everything you need to know, and you can start a free 2-week trial anytime you want. We also have the free OMBE method, which you'll find the link for in the show notes. And that goes through every step of the process of improving your surfing and a lot of the topics we've just discussed in this episode. So if you ever want to start your training, improve your surfing, everything you need will be in the show notes of this episode. Until then, I'll see you next week.